Alright, so episode 5 of Sqwadcast. We're doing education. Talking about education today, experiences, changes from when we were in school, stuff like that. We have other teachers and almost teachers here with us. So
except me.
We can go around and just say name and then what grade or grades or almost grades you're teaching. So.
Right, well, I'm Hannah. I graduated from Towson and currently a second grade teacher. And that's it. Next.
Obviously, I'm Tim, but I will say I teach mainly middle school and high schoolers, adapted PE, and that's where I'll leave at that.
I'm Jess. I'm currently a long-term substitute in a library in an elementary school. Next year, hopefully teaching second or third grade.
I'm Blake. I am a teacher at the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I teach the dark arts.
Not Defense Against the Dark Arts?
Defense Against the Dark Arts? Sure. No, the dark arts.
Just teach
Okay.
the dark arts.
I'm a warlock. No.
You're the only one left.
And my name is Paris, and I am studying elementary and early childhood education at Towson.
Is it jazz?
Snaps for that.
Oh.
Yes.
Slam poetry?
Alright, so to start off, there are two things I have noticed that have changed since I was in elementary school 80,000 years ago. It was...
Slight exaggeration, but...
It's probably 50,000, Tim. Let's just be a little realistic.
Alright, so the two things I have noticed, and I guess we'll start as a jumping off point, is the attire and dress of teachers, and also the way classrooms are arranged. I have noticed, even though in PE, I've noticed the classroom teachers have a little more casual wear. That could have just been from what I've seen. It's not like I have a huge sample size. And also classrooms tend to be more group sitting and partners than versus like rows and columns when I was a kid. It also could be a Maryland thing because I went to school in New Jersey, so I don't know if that was always
Have
the
you
thing.
been back to your school since you left? Like back to your same elementary school?
No. So it could change. Yeah.
I think with, I guess, seating arrangement would be the best term for that. But I think mostly with that, classrooms have changed from teacher-led lecture, taking notes, into student-led, meaning although the teacher is still in control and in charge of the classroom, student input and participation is now the most important, so they encourage more collaboration, teamwork, team building with students, I'm assuming to strengthen their social skills as well as prepare them more for realistic future endeavors.
Good words.
That's
Thanks,
it.
guys. Wow.
For my next poem.
Well, I mean...
Thoughts on this couch?
Uh-oh.
They definitely do group work more, and even like the 2-year-old classroom that I observe, and they encourage group work all the time because that's how the students learn best is through their peers. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's even like a strategy when you have a struggling student to partner them with one who is on that grade level or even higher, because of the student communication is so much different than teacher to student. That student obviously feels as though, you know, oh, this teacher's helping me, that must mean I'm not getting it, something's wrong, and then it's an immediate shutdown with them. But when they're working with another student, it's more of a, oh, this person's my friend, they're going to help me, and maybe I'll understand it better. I think there's more of a connection with a student to student rather than a teacher to student.
And also, kids sometimes can just explain things a lot better, because I've noticed that, well, they do.
No, it's true.
To each other.
To each other,
yeah.
yeah.
Kid grade. Kid grade.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that-
because like when I was trying to teach math concepts to my third graders when I was student teaching, I would explain it, you know, a couple different ways, and I don't know, something about me having learned it like way longer ago, and it's like so automatic for me, it's like harder for me to explain it. Whereas someone who just learned it, they can still like remember how they learned it and can kind of explain where their peer might be going wrong.
Mm-hmm. And even that with, especially with math, in that there are so many different strategies that they now teach in order to teach students why they're doing what they're doing. Even, that starts with like addition and regrouping and goes all the way to long division and fractions. So, and that kind of tags along with the Common Core, but it's teaching them why they're doing what they're doing instead of the steps to doing it. So I think even with that, it's harder for us to explain because we have no idea, why we're teaching it when we were taught so differently. Yeah, we know what to do. We know what we're doing. Why did we change it? But I see, from both perspectives of why they did change it and why they are trying to teach it this way.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it more meaningful for students by like giving them multiple strategies, and so they can actually make a solid connection to the applications of the math, whereas we learned mostly just the algorithms of like, this is how you add, you carry the 1, you add the next column, you carry the 3, you add the next column. It's like there wasn't really any meaning attached to that.
Right, and that worked for some kids,
Yeah.
And if it didn't work
for all of us.
Well, yeah, and if it didn't work for you were kind of just set aside to struggle, and that was going to be your struggle for the rest. But I think now they're really trying to jump on to Howard Gardner's different learning styles and different learning preferences, where it's, you have your, you're welcome. You have your kinetic learners, you have your visual learners, you have your auditory learners, and sometimes it's so much easier for a student to see a number line and have that make more sense than having someone with an algorithm and an equation.
I get why the Common Core is a thing, because it kind of breaks down exactly how we did it, but in a more easily visual way, which will grasp your visual learners, which the way we used to do, like long division and stuff, really wasn't visual. It was just kind of...
It was a process.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
you
a
follow the
process
steps
that
to the
do,
process,
but,
you get the answer.
I'm looking at boxes, I'm, doing all this, like, I'm doing this process, but there's more visual connection to it. So it's easier for a kid to kind of understand Common Core. Now, with that being said, Common Core to us makes, unless you're a teacher, I guess, it makes no fucking sense.
Oh no, if you're a
still
teacher,
doesn't
it makes
even
no
make
sense.
Zero.
There was like a
Zero sense.
terrible video on Facebook of this teacher showing how they were telling her to teach her students to add. And have you seen it? The worst thing I've ever seen. It made no sense. It was like taking a number out of, like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Was it like the taking away like the 1s and then adding like all the 10s, like the breaking
and it's like,
down?
why would you do that when it's so much easier to do it the traditional way?
Well,
that
for
we
some
learned?
people, it is easier to do it that way, to like break the number apart and look at it differently. Like my dad, he can do mental math like that, just because he has tricks like that, and they work way better for him than like doing the algorithm.
That makes sense for like specific things. For adding, that makes no sense. For like,
it went
mental
it took
math
way
is
longer than it should.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree it
exactly.
should be the first method that they learn because it is very complicated, but for some students, once they've got the basics, it can be faster for them to have a way like that to look at the numbers differently.
Right. So that should be considered more of an enrichment skill than a necessary basis of how to add.
or kind of an alternative way of looking at it. Like, okay, you're not grasping how to do long division this way. Here's another way that I can. Yeah, here's an option.
Yeah.
And this could
Different
help you. Yeah, this could help you succeed.
Right.
And
Different
in a
strategies.
different way.
Yeah.
And like some people learn different ways, like you were talking about, auditory, visual, and just hands-on, right?
Right.
So you have 3 different ways of learning, so give them different methods of being able to do math or whatever. That's cool. I have no problem with that. But being Common Core as being the end-all be-all and what you teach now just doesn't make sense to me. Like, adding 5 plus 5 should not take 10 minutes.
Right.
And like going back to what you said about mental math, like when I was working in the restaurant, like everyone would come up to me to calculate their tip share because I knew how to do tip share just like that. It was 3% of our total sales. So basically I would think, okay, $3 for every 100 that we're selling, right?
And that's the perfect method of
exactly.
how to do it.
So you did $700 in sales, you owe $21 plus whatever you have in your cash and drawer. Okay? And then that was what you owed them at the end of the night. And people that didn't grow up with our method of math, I guess, will never be able to do that as easily. Like, okay, you can do Common Core, but like, are you going to start drawing boxes on a piece of paper at the end of the night?
Right.
See, I think Common Core is getting a really bad rep here because, like, in theory, it is a good idea. I'm not saying it's like the greatest thing ever, but I think that it does get a lot of pushback because people who learn things differently when they were in school don't quite understand it. But for
I don't understand it at all. It makes no sense to me.
Exactly. So like you get that pushback from people who don't really understand the methods that the kids are learning, so they feel like more confused, but the kids are getting a better sense of numbers and relationships between numbers. So no, when they get older, they're not going to be using boxes to add and subtract, but they will have like the number relationship sense and just like looking at numbers in multiple ways to solve a problem. Right. So it's not just like they have one strategy. If it doesn't work, they're screwed. It's like, okay, this strategy's not working so well, let me try a different strategy. So I think that's kind of the mindset behind it. Granted, Common Core isn't always implemented in the best way, but the spirit behind it, I think, is a good thing.
And jumping on that, I think another pushback is mostly from parents who are frustrated to see their kids frustrated. So those kids that do not get the Common Core methods that we are teaching, they're going home with some recollection of what they learned and how to do it. So when their parents start teaching them the way that the parents learned, they get even more confused because that's not what they learned in class. Exactly. So I think, the things you see on Facebook and then the parent complaints about Common Core and how it doesn't make sense. This is coming from the frustration that, their child, the thing that they love most in the world, is, coming home visually upset because they don't get math. And these parents feel like they cannot help, which is, a parent's number one priority. Exactly. And they do provide those methods of, different resources like Learn Zillion videos where it teaches parents along with kids on how to do it. We could send home millions of resources, but when it comes down to it, there's no more fucking time. That's the worst part of teaching, is that there is not enough time and there will never be enough time. Yeah. So with the Common Core, I think it was a great idea to reach all those kids who do learn differently. I think it was pushed out into schools a lot earlier than it should have been. Yeah. And it was more of like we've got this, we have some proof that it works, let's go. Let's put it in every single school. Because, just going back to education as a whole, we are in a freaking race with every other country in the world to be the best. That's, our number one priority. So when it comes to this, when they thought that it was automatically going to turn our kids into math genius wizards, which it didn't yet. Yeah. Yet, give it some time. Allegedly. But, it just... So it just, we're in a race, and, we feel frustrated that it's not working, so we're pushing out all the stops as soon as we can. So I think that was another issue with it. Hello, welcome.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Are you getting involved with? Okay.
All right. Behind the scenes producer. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I think, though, that everyone succeeded well learning the way we learned before, so it's kind of like why do we have to start it now? Like everyone has done fine learning,
but that's the thing. Everyone hasn't done fine. Like like my sister is terrible at math. She's always been terrible at math, and honestly, I have shown her a couple of the Common Core things just to show like what we're doing in schools now. And she's like, that makes more sense to me. It still isn't like 100% like she's in love with it. She's going to become a math whiz overnight or anything. But like, she's like, that makes more sense to me than the stupid algorithms did.
Right. And I don't think you see people struggle with it nowadays because they have calculators at their disposal at any time.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. Do they need to do 18 times 20 in their head? No, they don't.
They can just do the tip on their phone.
Yeah, tips on phones, calculators all the time. Any app can get you any sort of thing. Yeah. And you're not going to be fucking graphing y equals mx plus b at any time during the day. Sorry, got that fucking high school, college, or algebra bullshit in here.
It's true.
But we don't, the people that we are seeing, and they're like, oh, well, we were fine, we didn't, all these people know how to do math the old way, so we taught it. Do they? Or do we just not see that they don't know how to do it?
Yeah.
So I think the Common Core idea is great. To teach these kids so many different strategies so that we can reach so many more and so many different minds on how to do it. Do I think it's perfect? No, absolutely not. I think it has potential to grow, and I think even with the government, I think it's going to change soon, and some new education push curriculum is going to come out.
Oh God, we're not going to talk about that, are we?
Well, no, just every single person in charge is going to think that they know
That's
better,
it.
and things are going to change. Education is always changing. As soon as you think you got it, nope, fuck you. You're done. We're changing it again. That's just how it happens.
We're going back to the Stone Age.
So
Everyone
that's
get
why-
your rocks. We're going to fucking tally things on the walls.
Jesus.
All right, so Common Core. So that's why kids are in groups nowadays.
Yeah, that's how we got
That's how
started.
Yeah. So I guess we, now that everybody got that out of their system, go into the attire of teachers, because I noticed in
I can
every
talk
school,
about this.
Start out.
More specifically because of where we worked before.
Yes.
Hannah and I used to work at an elementary school together at a before and after daycare, and the teachers that we saw walk in sometimes with their outfits were just ridiculous. Is probably not even halfway to the word that I want to use to explain some of these outfits. Like, these are elementary school teachers basically wearing nothing, and it was very confusing.
Really?
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
There was one specific first grade or maybe
I don't
kindergarten
remember who it
or
was.
second grade
I
teacher,
didn't know who it was.
always with like these body tight
Yeah,
dresses with boots and like a scarf to, you know, froosh it up.
yeah.
But
Interesting.
And to probably cover her cleavage until
Yeah.
like he got into the.
that was
Class or
questionable.
something.
She was
Yeah, that was questionable.
a younger teacher. I don't know what made her wake up in the morning saying, I'm going to wear this to teach my 7-year-olds today.
Yep. Stilettos, here it comes.
Yeah, very interesting. So I think, you know, I don't really see that a lot. No, that's a lie. I saw it the other day at my school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a different generation coming up, and they have to
Is it
be
the
reminded.
generation?
I think it's
Because
kind
like,
of.
I've seen the
Absolutely.
older teachers be more
I think
relaxed too.
part of
Not-
That's a midlife crisis.
well,
Stop.
like the elementary school I student taught at, most of the teachers, including like males and females, and most of them were like teaching for a while now. They wore like sometimes it was like a t-shirt and jeans or like
That's different, and I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
casual
well,
wear
I'm not
versus,
saying-
like, slutty wear.
Right, I'm
Yeah,
not
we're,
saying they
we're
were
talking
slutty.
about inappropriate, short,
I've never
revealing
seen
clothing.
I've seen yoga pants but that's
And see, yoga pants.
That's a touchy one.
yeah.
That's a touchy one.
If
That's-
you wear
that's
like
the
a
sluttiest
long,
I've
if you
seen.
wear a long enough shirt or like you can cover, like, I don't know. I feel like it's okay, and you dress it up or something.
I mean, they're pants.
But
They are pants.
Yeah.
They're not see-through.
Yeah.
For the most
Sometimes.
part.
Yeah.
I hope not.
sometimes are.
The inappropriateness is a different story, but when we're getting into jeans and t-shirts, I think that's just going along with the times. Like, you are running after 20 to 37-year-olds all day,
Yeah.
expecting them to sit down through math, language arts, reading,
You bet
writing,
your ass I'm wearing a t-shirt.
fucking social studies, science. You're doing
Exactly.
painting, you're doing crafts, you have to eat lunch with them sometimes, and they are not clean. I think it's just so much more practical. Why did we ever expect
Exactly.
teachers
I agree.
to wear suit and ties or pantsuits and dresses
No.
every day? That
I mean,
is
like,
so...
if we're talking about, like, professor level of, like, stuff, then, like,
Then
yeah,
absolutely.
go ahead. Like, where, like, in my major, when I was doing business management, like, a lot of my teachers wore suit and ties, but that's,
Oh, absolutely.
that's the territory.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
and-
different.
And in high school, a lot of my teachers, well, I mean, like, I had a lot of art teachers because that was kind of what I geared towards, but they all wore t-shirts and jeans and stuff because they were a lot more casual people than...
And because you're in
my other-
art and
Yeah,
you're gonna get
art is
messy.
understand- yeah,
I mean, like,
specific.
granted, it was, like, digital art and photography and stuff, so it wasn't, like, you know, like, hands-on painting and stuff. But they were really chill people, so they dressed appropriately.
I don't know why there's some sort of expectation for teachers to wear professional business attire at all times.
I mean, you don't have to wear business attire, but you still should look like a professional. You do have a college degree. You are like a role model for students. So
No, I
you
agree.
should, look
Yeah.
nice and presentable. But I'm agreed. I'm not going to be wearing my nice clothes when I'm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I'm
you're
not
not,
gonna
you're
wear-
not going to wear
I'll say
your,
it's
like,
not
your
happening.
party
Yeah.
clothes to
I'm
work.
not gonna wear
No.
a 3-piece suit every day.
Also, not
Not
that
right
either.
pants.
But,
I'm wearing
like-
black
like,
jeans
I
and a nice
wear-
top. Like that's
There
the
you go.
extent of my
Yeah.
dress up because it's like comfortable. I can move in that, but I still feel like
Yeah.
I look professional. And if
Right.
a parent or a supervisor, from the county office or something were to come in, I'm not going to look like a
Right.
slob.
Right.
Like I'm going to look professional. But
like wearing
I work with
sweatpants.
children.
No.
Exactly. Like
No.
I'm not gonna be one of those people who will wear yoga pants to work because to me that just yoga pants in my mind are like I relax in those. Like, I need to have different clothes for like that mindset of like, now I'm working, you know?
Right. And even like if you're doing arts and crafts or whatever, like I'll grab a pair of jeans and maybe a t-shirt that, supports my school. So it's a school spirit kind of thing.
That's
so you're still showing that, you are a part of the school, you're a part of a team, you're a part of a community, but also I'm working with 26 7-year-olds. I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to wear my nice outfits and not have them get ruined.
Mm-hmm.
Like I find, expo marker on my shirt, or I'll find, I don't even know what that is over there. Like you don't know. Time goes by so fast and things are happening at all times during the day. It's just what I wear. Obviously I would like to look professional, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. These kids do not care what I'm wearing.
Yeah, they really don't.
So it's more of a middle ground, I guess, nowadays. Like, there's, like, relaxed, casual, lazy Sunday outfits. And then there's, like, teaching outfits. And then there's, like,
Professors.
Yeah, what I'm wearing right now, I would never wear to my school. Never in a million years would I wear this to my school. But if I had, black jeans, a nice, button-up top, and a good pair of flats, that's dress up enough for me.
Yeah.
That's what I
And
wear
that's
every
what I
day.
would wear.
Yeah, nicely casual, honestly.
nicely
Yeah.
casual.
If I'm feeling real good, I'll wear, like, an appropriate length dress and a jean jacket, if it's springtime. So, and I also think that it depends on kind of the person that you are. But as long as you are, you are a teacher, you are a role model, you are someone that these kids look up to. So I do think that it's important. Hopefully they like you. I think it's important, but I don't think that it's necessary to have the extremely nice clothing that they wore at a point.
Yeah.
And that's elementary versus high school to college.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's just something I noticed. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, even when I was in high school, literally every male teacher I had, except the one 80-year-old still teaching, every other male teacher wore a shirt and tie every day. And the female teachers, like, dress up. They wore nice outfits. And then I noticed in the time now that I'm getting back in the classroom as a professional in that 6-year span, it's like, oh, this changed drastically in a short amount of time.
I mean, I think it can also depend on the socioeconomic climate of your school. I know,
true.
big word. I know. I'm
SAT
sorry.
words all over the place today.
But I'm saying, like, you're not going to wear your nicest clothes if you're in kind of like a poorer area. True. You're going to stand out a lot. And
You're also not going to wear
you're
your
not
nice
gonna be able
clothes
to...
if you work at the I'm Tim.
Damn. Damn.
So about not saying where we worked.
I can censor it.
No, I teach PE and I wear a collared shirt and dress pants every day. And sneakers, but that's because
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
you're...
You're a PE
dude.
teacher.
Yeah.
Everyone dress shoes now.
But I never wear sweats. I never wear athletic shorts. I never wear like a t-shirt unless it's like a special day, which I haven't had yet. I'm always wearing a collar and I'm always wearing nice pants. So.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if you're in a poor area, you're not going to be like overdressed because then kids are going to look looking like, who the hell are you walking in the classroom wearing a 3-piece suit when
And
I can barely afford a new pair of shoes?
Walking in wearing
Like,
Armani.
Exactly. So it kind of
like
depends on the neighborhood that you're in too.
What was that?
So.
How do I reach these kids? That movie.
Freedom Riders!
Yeah.
It's one of the best movies of all time, and I cried no matter what. And yeah, we won't talk about that anymore.
All right. Well, that was a nice quick segue.
You're welcome.
Usually it takes us like 15 to 20 minutes to get back on track.
No, you're welcome.
Well done.
You just cut it off.
Teacher skills. Moving on.
Yeah. So the next thing I had, now that we covered kind of the kids' arrangement, and then dress is, I guess, lesson planning and unit planning.
Why
Because
don't you guys take this one?
I've noticed a big change. Maybe my PE teacher just never did it. Because when I was, even in high school, it was just kind of like, this is what we're doing for the next 2 weeks. They had lessons planned, but it wasn't like, da, 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 da. But now it's like, you need to have an objective. You need to write out your transitions. You need to have like 3 activities planned so they're always doing something and they don't get bored. And then you need to have a pre-assessment and a post-assessment and all that stuff. And I was like, I never knew PE was this involved.
That's with almost everything.
Yeah, I think it's
But
kind of...
has it changed in element? Because I honestly
it's
don't
hard
know.
to say because we were students and we weren't thinking about.
We were never behind the scenes
Exactly.
of what
So it's,
these
like,
teachers
But do you
did.
feel more like it's more, or do you think?
I don't think
is
so
it more
because I think
advantageous?
it's just because we're like fresh out of college and now we have like this is actually what's going through teachers' heads.
Yeah.
It's like now we know, like, they have to think about all these different things.
Right.
Maybe
I
not
don't think
necessarily
it's
for every single lesson, but, like, you are thinking about these things.
Exactly. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a different arrangement. I think it's a different perspective.
Mhm.
Now, you do have to have your objectives on the board. And I know for guided reading in my county, you have to have thinking jobs. And they're different for God knows what reason. But the objective is more general. Students will be able to, or now it's I can statements. I can compare
you
two
use
characters.
I can
Yes,
statements?
I can compare two characters in a story. Well, the thinking job is, how is Susie similar to Mary Beth? The thinking job is the more specific, what you're expecting these kids to know, while the I can statement is what you're expecting them to get out of the lesson. And even with those two, guided reading is the specific groups of kids based on their ability on what books you can read together. And with that comes objective, thinking job, vocabulary, comprehension support.
How are you alive at all? Like,
Right?
you're not tired at any point? Like, what?
I'm very tired.
Yeah. You're eternally tired as a
that
teacher.
depends on the kids' reading levels and, testing them for their fontes and Pinnell. And, it's this whole big...
Are your arms tired from holding these kids all the time?
Right? Holding all their
Holy
hands.
shit.
But lesson planning, obviously, is not my forte. Not even my forte. Do I enjoy doing it? No. Do I enjoy teaching it? Yes. I love guided reading. I hate planning
That's
for it.
different. Doing that lesson plan doesn't mean anything. Like, that's me writing a presentation or
Right.
something. But the presentation is really the quote-unquote fun part.
No, absolutely.
Like,
And even with the presentation or you teaching of the students, one kid can ask a certain question and you're off track for the rest of the lesson because you want to answer that question that you didn't plan for, but you think that that's an amazing learning opportunity for everyone.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of, the point in your experience where you finally realize, like, wow, I'm a teacher. Because I took that moment and I taught all these kids something that I didn't plan for, and that was amazing. And now they're all really interested and engaged, and I'm the shit. And that's kind of, it's one of the best feelings as a teacher to have your kids actively engaged and asking more questions and, wanting to know more about whatever you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you can plan the heck out of a lesson, but when it comes down to teaching it, something is going to come up that you did not plan for, because you cannot plan for literally everything that could possibly happen.
Right, even
And
though
you
it's
have to-
expected of you.
It's expected, yeah, but physically impossible to do it.
Sure.
And you just have to be able to adapt your lesson plan, adapt your thinking, and just completely change whatever your plan was and come up with something new on the spot like that. So lesson planning is like one of the most frustrating things in the world, because
no one goes
like,
into the classroom thinking a kid's going to ask what the meaning of life is.
Yeah.
Like,
most days,
yeah,
some days you are expected.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But you're just going to have to know that you're going to answer 42 at some point.
Yep.
Hey.
But even with
Idris
that,
Elba somewhere in here, and
What does Idris Elba have to do with the Hitchhiker's Guide to the
it has
Galaxy?
nothing to do with it. But
a kid
That
will ask you that, so you better be prepared.
Mr. Tim, who's Idris Elba?
we had to make some kind of allusion to him here because it's
We still
Sqwadcast.
have like half an hour ish.
Yeah, I mean, but we did it, so we don't have to do it for the rest of the podcast.
Nobody else knows what we're discussing.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
Smoothly
Okay.
transition back to what we were
Anyway.
talking
See,
about.
I told you.
back to
Horrible. I'm sure you have another question for us, Tim.
I'm
Don't
trying
you?
to.
Well, did Paris want to
Yeah,
join
she was
in on
kinda quiet
anything?
that-
The
I
lesson
mean,
planning?
I really haven't had to plan any lessons yet.
Oh,
Honestly.
Just you wait.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to plan any lessons either, but seeing her have to plan lessons made me want to fucking put a gun in my mouth.
I know,
so.
it's really terrible. It would honestly just be better to like have a guide, but be able to do because you're gonna have to change what you have to do depending
Right.
on
And I think
how they understand.
Right. The best thing about Towson, I think, which, during the moment it sucked, it was awful, but they start you with a skeleton lesson where these are all the things that you have to think about when you're planning a lesson. And it goes along with the Common Core standards or the standard that they need to know. It touches upon your learning objectives, what materials you'll need, the steps that you have to take, And
individual learning needs.
Yes, individual learning needs.
What
If
they
you
already
have,
know,
yeah, if you have any kids with
cultural considerations.
Yep, cultural considerations. Gotta
All
love
that
them.
shit.
If you have any kids with IEPs or 504s, what you're going to do to accommodate or modify the
Or if you
lesson
have to
for
get
them.
some talented ones, then you have to plan enrichment for them. And it's
Yep.
just like,
There's an opening, there's a, the body of the lesson, there's the closing, there's the thinking about what you could have done better, and it's, it's this huge long thing that's extremely overwhelming, but as you go through the program with Towson, they eliminate things because your brain will automatically think of that without even being prompted. So you'll be in your classroom and you'll be thinking about a lesson that you're teaching and you think, oh, well, I've got 3 kids in here that are all Muslim, so I could change it into this, for the cultural connection, right. So for the cultural connection, I have this kid over here with an IEP for ADHD, so I need to make sure that this kid is, not sitting next to this kid, or, I have to make sure that I am actively walking around the classroom. So these are things that you automatically begin to think about. So the lesson planning becomes less extensive with everything else in the classroom. It goes more towards the actual lesson because now you have been prepared. Yeah, you have prepared for everything with the experience.
Mm-hmm. So thank God we don't have to do that full-blown lesson plan as a teacher. You just
Right.
have to, think about all that stuff.
Exactly. So
you just don't have to prove it.
It's nice to be, an actual teacher and you don't have to turn in your lesson plans to anyone within a timeline. That was the worst thing in the whole world.
I was always writing lessons on Friday nights. It was horrible.
Yeah, and sometimes, I'm a really shitty teacher and it's, Sunday at 2 o'clock and I haven't planned for guided reading this week at all.
Nice.
Yeah, so...
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So
You got 18 hours.
Yeah, I got a few hours. You know what? I don't even think I'm teaching guided reading tomorrow because I get to leave early, but that's another story.
You got 36 hours.
Right. But, when you are the teacher and you are thinking about all these things, it's nice to not be able to have to turn into somebody to turn in a lesson plan. Like, this is proof that I've thought of something. And it's just kind of when you start teaching it on the spot. You're like, all right, here we go. You just wing it.
That's
But the good teachers can wing it and have it be successful. Am I there yet? Probably not. Will I be there? Hopefully.
Yeah,
once you get into a swing of what you're teaching for a while, I feel like that it'll just become second nature.
Yeah. Once you get to know the kids a little bit, you are automatically thinking, all right, he is going to raise his hand with something to say that has nothing to do with anything. I'm just not going to call on him.
Shut up, Johnny. No. No dumb questions except yours. Stop.
But yeah, you just start thinking about that stuff. You don't have to write it down.
It's actually I want to say kind of like a culture shock at my current position because Towson was so in depth with everything they wanted, and then I got to long-term subbing now, and the other teacher and the paraeducator that's with me is like, oh yeah, we just think of lessons the day of. I was talking to something
easier.
Yeah, and it's they showed me the lesson plan of because technically I'm a private school, so what administration wants. It's objective, lesson, and closure or something like that. I was you only have to do that. I was Towson taught me so much more to keep in mind.
Yeah, they always talk about
that. Yeah, it helps because I'm planning. Yeah, because
you need to make accommodations for this and this and this, and remember, you need to look at their plans for this and this, and every single class talks about it.
You seem like you need to get out a lot of anger about this.
Oh yeah.
You want to vent for a little bit?
Nah.
No? Okay.
Nah. No, I mean, you're miserable while you're learning how to do all this stuff, but then once you get through it, you're wow, I'm actually really well prepared, and this is
then you're miserable about other things.
I wish calculus did that for all of us.
At least that stuff is easy,
Right. Well,
easier.
Well, even with that, segueing from lesson planning, in the school that I'm in now, it's got to be, the excessive media and how everything is kind of out in the open in these days. But, I've had to write a referral for a student in 2nd grade for inappropriate language and, sexual content.
What did he say?
And,
I want to know.
Well, not disclosing anything, but this student had written...
I don't know his name or anything.
This student had written...
Disclosure.
In a fortune teller, so one of those paper fortune tellers, you will have sex, and began showing to, their peers, and I had to have one of those students come up to me and tell me, and then when I asked said student about it, they denied, emailed the mom, had to have a meeting, and then the mom kind of came forward with her back story and why, she has so much knowledge of that kind of content. And it's heartbreaking to, sit here and listen to a parent kind of explain why their child is the way that they are and why they do bring in the inappropriate content to a classroom. And it's kind of, it's scary that all these kids, are getting exposed.
We let them watch Game of Thrones with us.
And it wasn't even that. It was a total it was somebody's fault, but it was not the student's fault, and they have just normalized, sexual content in their minds that this is something that everyone talks about, so might as well bring it up in second grade, when you have to sit down with that child and say, this is not something that 8-year-olds, are thinking about. So it's... Okay, thinking about should be thinking about. Yeah, should be thinking about. So it's sad that now this is another issue to deal with 7 and 8-year-olds.
Yeah, so I guess that transitioned into how we adapted to having everything out in the open, like Hannah said, and access. They have access through their phones and the computers. Yeah, and a lot of it.
First graders running around with iPhones. Everything.
Mm-hmm. Which is
why? What do you need on an iPhone?
I mean, some of my kids have the watches where it's the only thing they can do is call mom or dad,
and that's
those. Cool
that's
because they're a walker.
That's what
so they
I
walk
had.
home.
I think
that's
that's
important because
though.
that wasn't.
You had the basic bar phone that literally
or
calls
the
freedom.
Fireflies or whatever. The Fireflies.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the equivalent is today. But I mean, I had a shitty black and white phone that had literally only my mom and dad's contact in it.
And if I went on the
only
internet,
for emergencies.
If I went on the internet, it would be $10. You could
Exactly.
call people.
I don't even think our phones had
no.
internet capabilities back then. Yeah, I mean...
Actually, my first one didn't, but my later ones did.
My first one was the pink Razor, and the only thing I could do was text, call, and play Sims.
Nope, yep.
Okay,
I had the Juke. You remember that little...
Yep, the thing that wears
such a cool... Yep, it was cool. It was rad.
I had a brick of a Nokia. It wasn't a flip.
That first,
It was black and white.
It probably still has battery life.
Snake on it, right?
That was the only game was Snake, right? It had no internet capabilities whatsoever. I mean, it literally was a basic phone, and that's actually the only kind of phones that really existed back then. Beepers were still a thing.
I want to really date myself.
I mean, I didn't have a beeper.
Dating ourselves in our early 20s.
They existed. You kind of have to give up the ghost on that one.
No one needs to know.
I mean, after that, it was I got a colored Nokia.
Yeah, it got real fancy.
Yeah. And then obviously, if you didn't have a Razor, you weren't cool.
Right.
Never had
Yeah.
a Razor.
So you weren't cool. Sorry, dude.
I was a hipster before hipsters
You had the
existed.
keyboard.
I had one.
The Envy?
I had the Envy!
LG
Envy 3
Voyager.
and Envy Touch.
I did not have
those were so cool.
I had the LG Voyager.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Those were rad.
Yeah. So, cell phones.
Well, yeah.
So bottom line,
Back
Kids should not have cell phones.
it corrupts them. It's corrupting my generation. It's really corrupting us. And it's just going to make them way worse. I feel like I'm even in a different generation.
I'm going to have to agree with her.
Yeah,
I really do. I really do.
You were in school 50,000 years ago, Tim. Okay, let's be realistic.
I mean, but it's true though.
It is. Everything has changed.
When I used to go to work, when I was working at the restaurant, you'd see people on their phones constantly, all the time, literally all the time. They'd be attached to their phones, and you'd be like, "Hey, can you put your phone down?" They'd be like, "Yeah, sure." Put it away for 3 seconds, and then they pull it out again. Because they can't, pay attention to anything else.
No, and everybody at Towson, everyone walking, everyone's on their phone. Nobody talks. You're in the elevator, everyone's just like this because they don't want to talk to anyone.
Our elevators are awkward, though.
Okay, but you could just say hi. I don't know. I feel like it's stupid. It really fucks with social skills.
Oh, yeah.
It really is going to let children cheat on everything. Everything will just be
they have
handed
so
to
much
them.
information
Everything is
and
right
access.
in their hands.
Yeah.
They're not.
And they don't know. They're kind of losing what it is to have meaningful information, research, looking for something, not knowing the answer. It's no, they have the answers at their fingertips for everything.
Everything.
And if they, God forbid, come to a situation where they don't have the answer, how are they going to handle that?
Right.
They've never had that experience before.
And everything's so urgent. You can get an answer urgently, and then they're gonna freak out when they actually have to learn and
think about something.
something. Ooh, test. Oh my God. Yeah. And then the test anxiety is so bad because, oh God, I can't.
Well, that's even like, I think that it might be this generation as well, where it's like, you know,
which generation?
This one, like my 8-year-olds right now.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like a spoiled thing
Uh-oh.
or what, but whenever I'll say, okay, so today we are going to, you know, read 2 biographies and we're going to write a letter about them, and it's just. Like it's.
You can say anything though, and they'll do that.
We're gonna jump out of a plane and
gonna
we're gonna knit
candy.
sweaters.
Ugh.
I don't know what it is. It's like I understand that, you know, reading 2 biographies about, you know, Rosa Parks and I don't even know Amelia Earhart, and then comparing and contrasting. Like, yes, they have to do something, but you know, grown in your head, like we all did. Did we want to do it? Hell no.
But we did.
But we never would
I never
disrespect.
said it out loud, yeah.
You never
Yeah.
disrespect a teacher to
Yeah.
grown, and it just it irks me so much because I would never do that. I would
Right.
never do that, and it's like, what gives you?
I think that comes down to parenting, though.
I also
Which
think it's just
I
this
think-
generation
And role
in general.
models in general.
Well,
Like these-
because like I think it's the generation slightly above ours because they're the parents of the kids in school. Like
Right.
our generation
Mhm.
doesn't have kids in school.
Well-
Well, I
most
mean-
of us don't.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but like the 27 to 35-year-old range do. And
well,
they're
what
the
parenting has changed? Like, what about parenting has changed to make these kids into little assholes
They
sometimes?
roll over on everything. They let their kids dictate
Yeah.
everything.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
like
I-
their
I
parents
like
are like
that.
pretty
Catch me
strict,
outside,
and so they're
girl.
like,
Yeah,
so
she's
maybe
fucking
they're
yes!
She's fucking nuts. Catch me outside, girl.
And her mom is even fucking
And her
crazier.
mom-
When
It's
she
like, oh,
is
she
a
has
role
a
model
problem.
for children, then we have a fucking
we
problem.
have
And
an
she
issue.
is.
We have an issue. The high schoolers now.
Kim
I-
Kardashian,
I
like,
know 9th graders.
Catch Me Outside Girl.
Terrible. Their behavior is awful. They fail school. They don't try at all. They just don't care.
Even the Cash Me Outside Girl. She's 13.
She's nuts. Nuts.
She's 13, and she's like,
I'm gonna steal your car. Why? You gave me keys.
Fine, put your ass in jail. I don't care.
Right. Why is the mom like, well, she has a problem. Yeah, because you let her talk to you like that.
there's no
And
consequences
change it.
for anything.
exactly. It's definitely a change it. It's definitely a parenting thing. 150%. Because, like, these parents just go,
The young
well,
parents
you know,
are trying to change, I guess.
they're like, well, I mean, let them do what they want to do, and, let them be free. Fuck that, dude. Like, if they're misbehaving, fucking hit them.
But then it puts a burden
I'm
on the
sorry.
teachers
Well,
because they have to whip these
I mean,
kids
I
into
didn't
shape.
say beat them into submission. Like, my dad
Yeah.
plucked me in my head every time I did something incorrect
Oh,
or something,
yeah.
you know?
Bonk.
Yeah, exactly.
Really though.
Like, something.
Right?
Anything.
You disrespected your parents, you got soap in your mouth. Like that's
Something.
no, dead ass.
I mean,
though.
I didn't. That never happened to me, but
Dead
like I got
ass.
hit, right? You know,
I
like,
got beat
something.
with belts many times.
Something.
I was really
And-
terrible.
I'm not, it's not like I have a great relationship with my dad, but like a fantastic relationship with my dad.
because it's founded on
he-
respect.
Exactly. It was respect, and it was like, okay, you know what? You're right. I was being an asshole.
Yeah.
I get that. I shouldn't have lit the kitchen on fire. You're right. My bad.
You're right. My
But
bad.
like, this is an extreme
Everyone is so
example,
entitled.
but like parents these days would be like, well, he's expressing his creativity.
But he's
Free.
No,
or
your
whatever.
son is an entitled
So
piece of
do
shit.
something about
Bottom
it.
line.
Like, what the fuck are
Like-
you talking about? He's playing with fire. Stop.
Right. I think it comes
Like, in
down
the house.
to these parents trying to allow their kids to be who they are, and I'm all about it. Support your
Cool.
kid in
Let
their
them be what
goals
they
and their
wanna-
dreams, and talk to them about their ideas. But you are the parent. You are not their
But you
best
also
friend.
can't be a stripper at 16. Stop.
That's true. No, that's not a very good dream. You have to kind of guide away from that. But it comes
There's a
down to
responsibility as parents.
exactly. You have a responsibility as a parent to try to teach your kid as best you can right from wrong, and you can encourage your child to be who they are and what they want to do with their lives. But you are not their best friend. You are not their friend in general. You are their mom and you're their dad, or dad and dad, mom and mom, whatever. This is a new world. But
2017.
you are their parent. You need to parent them. There are consequences for actions, and those parents who don't give consequences are fucking them for life.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
in life,
There
there
are
are consequences that
Yeah.
they're going to have to deal with. And
They're
I think
gonna
that
go,
goes
God
hand in
forbid.
hand.
Culture shock when
Exactly.
they come out of school.
And I think that goes hand in hand with the every kid gets a trophy. No,
Ugh.
every kid does not get a trophy
No.
for participation.
Yeah, I don't know if it was you. I had this conversation with someone else saying it's not the kids doing it; it's the parents giving the trophies to
Yeah.
the kids, and then they blame the kids for getting a participation trophy. It's like, well, they're the ones giving it to them. Like, I never.
It's not the kid's fault.
I think I got one participation trophy. throughout my.
Exactly.
Fuck
Like
yes.
if you
I think if I
lose-
did, I'd drop kick it out the window. Do I want a trophy for participating? No, I want a trophy for being number one
Yeah.
and beating
you
the rest
lose,
of these
you
kids.
fucking lost, dude.
Yeah.
Do better. Like
deal
what are you
with it.
talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. Build on that experience.
Like you're not gonna
They're
go
just teaching
commit
them life
kid
isn't gonna give you
suicide when you go
everything
home
is
because you
okay,
win a
bottom
fucking
line.
soccer trophy or some shit. Like
Right.
you're gonna be fine if you don't get a trophy.
you will learn how to
You'll
deal
be-
with
you'll
like
be all right.
disappointments
It'll-
and like
Because
that's
that's
get
life.
better.
Guaranteed, as soon
Disappointment.
as you get home and mom makes like some fucking cool ass dinner or something, you're gonna forget about it, and you have no idea what even you're over it by that point. Like kids don't grasp on these disappointments like
it's not worth it.
like kids or like adults do. You know, like oh fuck, I let down my wife and now she's leaving me or whatever. Like you'll harp on that for a long time. A kid's like I lost a fucking soccer tournament, whatever.
Right. And
You know.
I think with some kids, as
Exactly.
long as that parent or whomever is encouraging them, you lost this. We're going to face it. You lost this.
Yeah.
But let's talk about what you can do to do better.
Exactly.
And that goes hand in hand with fixed mindset and growth mindset that a lot of schools are getting into now, where it's the growth mindset is you accept and you acknowledge your failures, but you change or you learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think teaching that to kids instead of,
Well, you tried, Jimmy.
yeah, there's no gold stars for trying anymore. You shouldn't be giving those away or giving anything away for trying. Like with my class for behavior management, we do class dojo, so it's every kid gets a point for every good behavior, if they're following directions, if they're on task, if they're helping a friend, you know. And every week I give the student with the most points like a certificate. They have their name on it, point leader of the week. And I have kids come up to me, but I had the second most.
No,
I was
sorry.
like, that's great, but so-and-so had the most, and they get their certificate, and you try again next week.
Yeah.
You know, every week is a clean slate. I'll clear
Yeah.
their points, they try again. So, you know, I think I've had maybe 2 kids that have won twice, but other than that, like, I try really hard to acknowledge the kids for what they're doing correct, and I do give them points, but that doesn't mean I won't take them away when they're not doing what they're supposed to, and then they get butthurt about it. I'm like, you know the rules. You threw your pencil across the room. This is your consequence. Took a point away. Also emailed your parent because that's dangerous. But, you know. And I think...
It's
with-
like you don't get $1 back for participating in the lottery.
Right.
You know?
Mhm.
Like, you just
But
lose.
if
play
they
the
think
lottery
that
a
they
lot more.
deserve it.
If I can-
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would just constantly play the lottery if I got $1 back every time I fucking
Risk,
played.
yeah.
Right,
But you
because
don't.
if you
Because
did end
someone
up
has to
winning,
win.
yeah, there's no money
There'd be no payout to
Yeah,
the person
there'd be
who
none.
wins.
because everyone got their money back.
Yeah, you lost. Deal with it. Your consequence is now you're $1 short.
Right. And even, oh my gosh, helicopter parents, the ones that are emailing you constantly about their kids' grades. Can so-and-so redo this test? I think they were just distracted. They really need to try. These are real emails.
Can we define helicopter?
Helicopter parent is a
Constantly
parent
hovering.
that
Oh,
is
okay, alright,
yes,
alright.
constantly
That was really easy. Though.
emailing you about their grades, behaviors, who called Billy being stupid for kicking the ball over the fence. Well, yeah, that probably wasn't very
Billy
smart
was
of Billy,
pretty
but
fucking stupid.
yeah.
So
But-
yes, the kid was right.
But you know, it's just those parents are they're enabling. They're enabling this participation trophy. They're enabling. Oh, I failed
Exactly.
this test, but my mom's gonna email her, and I'm gonna be able to retake it. So
No,
I'll
you're
just
not.
study the night before.
One of my friends is a TA at a medical school,
Mhm.
and they had a kid who didn't submit the assignment in like the proper file format, so the TA literally couldn't grade it, even though they like drilled it in. They were the only kid that didn't submit it in the right format, and the TA couldn't grade it, and so there was like a consequence of like minus 10% or something because they had to resubmit it late, and the parent
That's
literally
pretty
emailed.
gracious.
The
The
parent.
parent literally emailed.
This is an
This kid
adult.
is in medical school.
This is an adult.
And it's like, it's unfair of you to take points off of my child just because they didn't do this, blah, 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 blah. And
Your
I'm like,
child didn't follow the fucking
You-
directions.
your child wants to be a doctor.
Yeah.
The parent literally said that in the email. It was like, but they work really hard, they really want to be a doctor. It's like, well, I don't really want a doctor that can't fucking follow directions.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah,
Open
like
heart
first
surgery.
you open the
Why
heart,
are you-
then you close it up. Oh shit! Did I get the cotton swabs out? Whatever.
Open heart
Exactly.
surgery. Why are you
It's
buying
like,
my butt?
That's just what's so terrifying is like when these kids grow up, like they're gonna have zero skills and like just because everything's
'Cause
always
they
been
were
done for
coddled
them,
their
like handed
entire
to them, you
lives,
know?
yeah.
They never had to really like work for anything.
Right.
Never
But
had to deal with those consequences.
There was something interesting. We were doing opinion writing, and I picked an article that I thought would relate most to them at this age, and it was, should kids get paid for doing chores? And I was like, oh, these kids are going to be like, yes, I deserve it. I do good things and I get it. I would say most of them said no. And that was probably the most proud I've ever been in my class.
Surprising.
I know, it was
It's really
incredibly surprising. But they said no, and I was like, okay, well, what reasons do we have? And they're like, because it's just something that needs to get done.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
And I can't.
Yo, hire those people.
Yeah, right? Kids.
Hire those people like DoorDash.
Yes,
Like,
seriously,
what the
God,
fuck, yo?
fuck.
And I gave the
Jesus.
example, when Miss So-and-so, when Miss Chisholm had to go to college, no one was there to pay me to do the dishes. No one was there to pay me to vacuum. But guess what? If I didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done.
Yeah.
I think, that's a roommate issue as well, but that's not what we're talking about. It wasn't going to get done. So it's, you are making the choice. Do you want it to be clean, and do you want to live in a clean place and have everything done, or you want to live like a slob and have your dishes piled up in the sink to just be a later problem? And they were...
Which gross.
Exactly.
by the way.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
used
it's-
that, and they ran with it. They kind of were like, yeah, that makes sense. So most of them, I would say, said, no, you shouldn't get paid for doing chores because it's just something you have to do. It's a family responsibility.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn,
Yeah.
these kids are great today. It
Today.
depends. It's day.
Yeah,
Yep.
like,
conditional.
I never
It really
got-
Tomorrow they're like, I should get paid. You know what?
Whatever they did over the weekend, something changed
Yeah.
it.
Cut the grass. I deserve $5.
So
Maybe.
cutting the grass is hard.
Yeah, I wish I got $5 every time I cut
Unless
the
you
grass.
did it for someone else. If you did your lawn and then the neighbors and they gave you
That's
a chip.
just business.
Yeah, exactly. That's a business.
Capitalism
But you do
at
it
its finest.
for yourself. That needs to get done, or else you're gonna look like the neighborhood hobo. You know.
Mm-hmm. Jeez.
What did we start with?
We
Child labor.
we went
We're on child labor.
we went down the rabbit hole real quickly with that one.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I kind of we got onto. I was gonna say behind the scenes stuff, but we kind of covered parenting, like stuff you may not realize. Non-education majors or people not in schools, career-wise, may not realize what goes on.
How about
Behind
how
the
teachers
scenes.
buy like everything that goes in the class?
Yeah,
I
I
was
talked about
buying,
that.
interacting with other teachers because I just had a horrible grading experience. I put in grades, but a class used a different system, so I changed it. But then apparently I didn't resubmit it and all this stuff. So it was like a 3-day span just to put grades in, and I'm trying to communicate with the teacher and the principal and all that stuff. So there's interaction with the other teachers, like you said, supplying your own classroom, and all that stuff. So what else? What thoughts on that?
Well, supplying your own classroom, I guess that kind of just depends on the teacher that you are. The school will give you desks, chairs,
Well, yeah, we're not buying
Sometimes
everything.
pencils.
sometimes pencils.
It's not an empty classroom.
So
No,
it's going above, and it's buying, markers, dry erase boards, etc. But then there's going above and beyond, and that's buying, rugs and chairs for your library and alternative seating for those kids that need the modification, and it's buying those extra resources, and it's buying that extension on that lesson plan on Teachers Pay Teachers because 5 kids in your class would love that activity, So it's definitely about knowing. I'm sorry, what?
What is that?
Teachers Pay Teachers, the best website online to this date. That's what it is. It's
I'm pretty sure that goes to Reddit, but okay, well, I'll give it to 2.
All right, so Teachers Pay Teachers, teachers who are either, maybe not expired. What's the word?
Retired.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Retired teachers.
I'm gonna expire in 10 years.
Retweet, me too. But the teachers who have it all together.
This teacher's going bad. We gotta get rid of her.
Oh,
Got about another week on it.
The teachers that have the extra time and want to put the extra effort in will either put up lesson plans or other resources for free, or will sell their ideas to other teachers. Now, if I'm looking online and I'm frustrated
So
with my
Pinterest
Native
with
American lesson,
teachers.
yes.
Similar, yeah.
And I'm frustrated with my Native American lesson because these kids aren't getting it. I'm going on and there's a $3, pocketbook that I can make with them where they'll be engaged. Hell yeah, I'm going to spend that $3. Now, what you
That's
don't
worth it to
realize
save
as a
yourself
teacher,
stress.
is that you're
retweets.
clicking $3, $2, $1, $4, and it's all adding up. And you don't look at that or pay attention to that because you know that it's going to help you, and most importantly, it's going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So being a teacher and getting the resources that you are
Some stressful shit.
contracted to is not enough for today's classroom. In the best terms to say that, but
and there's no form of compensation for any of this kind of
You
stuff.
can write it
Like
off
a
on your
tax.
taxes.
Okay,
deduction,
that's
but it's
that's
not-
nothing,
No,
really,
it's-
though. Honestly,
Keep
you
all
don't
your
get like
receipts.
reimbursed, but
that's ridiculous.
And then and you have to supply your classroom library. And then, if you're in a 5th grade class and you only have, 50 chapter books and the rest picture books, you're going to have administration come in and say that this library is not good enough and doesn't meet the needs of your students. So then
give
you
you
have
some money to
to
buy books.
so then you need money to buy books, and they're not going to give it to you because that's your responsibility as a teacher. And then when you have your library all set up, someone will come in and say, but these aren't labeled with the Fontes and Pinnell reading level. So then you have to go and label all your books with the letters of the alphabet that make no sense to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they'll get you on something else. Your reading center is not as welcoming and
I
inviting.
remember that from
Oh, God. Whatever.
That's okay. 2 censors. That's fine.
But yeah, like at our place, it was always meeting the basic standards, health,
Corporate
safety.
shit.
Yeah, health, safety. And then it was meeting
Which
the...
I'm fine with. Health and safety.
Yeah.
Kind of a
But then it was
Yeah,
meeting
that's
the
kind of-
standards
do
of
that,
you
yeah.
need a safe spot for your kids who are, who need a safe place to go. And, you don't have a glitter bottle in here. That's a check mark off your
And why?
your list. You need to get a glitter bottle.
Do
or
you want
else
to clean
you'll
up
be
I was
done.
about
you,
to say.
you want to clean up the glitter fucking bullshit? Because I don't. I sure as hell don't.
Mm-mm.
Oh, God.
Glitter glue? Yeah, right. Fuck that.
Better than glitter, though. Loose
God.
glitter just is like herpes. You can never get rid of it.
it's
Honestly.
herpes of the art world.
You're laughing because it's true,
Education.
Tim.
That's exactly why I'm laughing.
That's why you never use glitter. Ever.
Yeah, ever. Just,
Ever.
Not ever.
oh, this lesson uses glitter? Not using it.
Nope, we're gonna
On to
draw
the
our
next
own
one.
glitter. Dots.
Here are some metallic markers. Go ape
Those are
shit.
expensive, though.
Yeah, but
Yeah, true.
which one is worse? $5 out of your pocket or like 6 hours of you trying to clean up glitter?
See, and that's just kind of like a
And then
teacher's
walk home
struggle.
with like
I'm
glitter
not
on your
arguing with
face
that
still.
part. I'm not arguing with that part. I'm
It's
just
like,
saying
should I
those are
spend
expensive.
half my
$5.
paycheck or should I pull my hair out? It's the
And then have to spend
teeter-totter.
all your paycheck getting the
The extensions are to look somewhat normal.
Oh, that was a tangent.
Yeah.
So fuck glitter is basically
Yeah.
moral of that story.
Yep. So we had parenting,
Mm.
glitter. Common Core.
Common Core, behind the scenes.
We're gonna talk about Betsy.
Nope.
No?
I don't know that there's a lot to talk about yet. Like, there's a lot we could say, but there's not really much that of hers that she's done that we could really talk about.
The new
That's true. She hasn't
Department of
Secretary
Education.
of
done
Education.
anything.
Secretary of Education.
So there hasn't been much that she's actually done. There's a lot that we're worried about, but there's not much we can actually.
I mean, she believes in child labor, so
Just that, yeah.
I think what
So
It is unbelievable to me with all the things that she has said, yet there are still people who voted for her, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
I mean, we can equate that to other things too.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can.
There are broader applications.
Yep.
Just with that being said, she has absolutely no experience
yeah.
with education.
There seems like there's a trend here.
She
She's got a lot of opinions and then not a lot to back them up.
exactly.
Coffee fraud.
She has never been, in a education program with college. I don't
Set
know
foot in a public school.
exactly. Has she been? She's never been through a public school system. So how
Her
can
kids
she
haven't gone
say
through public school.
that they're not getting what they need? And that kind of goes to, oh well, what do we do with public schools now that they are basically useless in my mind? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But until something happens, there's really not much.
Not much to say.
I agree. Not
We
much
can,
to
I mean,
say.
we can speculate all day. We can gripe about her all day, but there's not really anything we can concretely say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The experience is
Give
not
it a
there.
week.
Oh yeah.
Give it a week or two.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm sure we'll have plenty to say soon.
Maybe she'll be playing golf. Who knows? Golf lessons for everyone.
Oh God. Only those in private school though.
Public school kids get a stick and a piece of lint.
Those poor people don't get to touch my golf clubs.
They just get to carry them.
Mm.
That's what they'll do. They'll hire public school kids,
Caddies.
child labor, and golf in the same thing.
Boom.
They'll hire
We
them to
figured
be
it out.
caddies.
Situation.
Done.
We're actually oracles. All right, Timmy. You got any more questions for us here? No.
We've been on a few rants.
Yep. So I'll wrap it up.
Yeah, and I think we're getting near the end. We're almost close to an hour. I guess to end on a positive light note, I guess we should say, like, what, it's cliche, but whatever, what your favorite part of being a teacher is, or why you got into the profession.
Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't ask for like the highlight of my week, because that would be breaking up a fight. But we're not going to talk about that.
Let's go ahead, Frenchie.
All right. Well, last summer I was a camp counselor for 3 and 4-year-olds, and I loved it so much. And I was pretty much the teacher for all of them, and I did everything for them. And I just really, really decided then that I wanted to be a teacher. So that's where I'm at.
I think it's kind of the unconditional love that you get.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's from all of your class or whether it's from one student, it doesn't really matter. But these kids at this age, and even as they get older, but you are most likely a role model for someone. And to have that kind of belief in you, that someone, whether it's one person or whether it's 20, thinks that you are, the highlight of their day, that you are the reason they come to school, and you are the reason why they're so interested in science or whatever, just is the most humbling and, overwhelming feeling. And that it's
To piggyback off that real quick, if you guys know some of those teachers that really inspired you back in high school or whatever, and you have their number or their Facebook or whatever, tell them how much you appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, I've done it to all my art teachers and one of my English teachers, even though I didn't really ever get into English or whatever, but he was a really cool guy and he helped me through a lot. So tell them that you appreciate them, because it means a lot.
Oh, it means
really
the world.
does.
It really does. You have those people who are millionaires, and in their speeches, or, if they're going to colleges to speak, they always say that, their number one story of when they decided to get into a business or do something with their lives, they say, I was in 2nd grade and I had Mrs. Smith, or, whatever. These are the kids that remember, their teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And to be someone that someone remembers, just if it's something so small, like you listened to me when no one else would. You stayed after school with me and taught me long division when no one else would.
Yeah.
It's being that person for a student that really, you get that feeling of, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
Tim? Insight on yours?
It's kind of, I think, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think that's why the majority, and hopefully all teachers, get into teaching, because they
That's why I took the teach dark arts.
Keep going, Tim.
I mean, there's a student at my job, and, well, first of all, he's one of the happiest kids I've ever met in my life, so he's already happy to begin with. But we just finished, we're near the end of a bowling unit, and he didn't play before, not that much. He went here and there, through school trips and stuff. But once, I taught him, the proper technique and the scoring and how everything works, he, came up to me after class. He was like, I had a lot of fun. I want to go bowling a lot more now. And I'm just like,
I know. It's so dear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, moments like that and stuff, I think that's why I never wanted to be anything else besides a teacher. Since I was, 10, I never thought of doing anything else.
Right. And I think that kind of goes with, the teachers that you had. They set the standard of,
Mm-hmm.
wow, teachers are amazing, and teachers are so, nice, and they truly care, and that's, that's the kind of person I want to be for someone.
Yeah, because, I remember my high school music teacher was probably I was closest with, because I saw him all the time. I was in 2 different bands and marching band, 2 bands for class and then marching band. So I saw him, year round all the time. And then, when senior year hit, and I was like, crap, I'm not going to see you anymore. It kind of hit me, and I was like... So it's kind of just, having that, having such a good influence for so long, too. And I had other teachers like that, too. Just being that good, getting you through things, being nice to you and not being mad at you, or, helping you through stuff. That's always good.
Yeah, believing in you even when you don't believe in yourself. My high school music teacher... I don't know how he saw it in me, but he wanted me to play a solo. And I was freshman year, I was the squeaky violin in the back, but you could hardly hear me, And by senior year, he had me playing a solo. He was working with me constantly, and just it's amazing how much confidence that gave me, which carried over into like all parts of my life. And it's just like, that's like something that I will never forget, will never stop appreciating, because I literally have no idea who I would be, where I would be if not for him. And like, that's what I wanted to be for someone. Exactly. It's like what everyone's been saying. It's cliched as it is. You want to know you made a difference in someone's life.
You want to give back to what someone gave to you.
Just like seeing someone like light up because they finally get something, and you're like, yes,
Yeah.
there it is.
Right.
That you just like feel so accomplished and so like happy and proud, and it's just like, it's selfish, but you want to feel it all the time, you know?
And even like, I remember when I was student
selfish
teaching.
for a good reason, though.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like student teaching in high school, like a lot of the kids were kind of crazy and like almost defiant, you know, like they didn't want to do this, they wanted to play basketball instead, and I was like, I need to teach you lessons so I don't fail student teaching. Right. But then like a few of them like would come up to me after class and say like they enjoyed that lesson or they enjoyed having me, yada yada yada, and I was just like even though they were the troublemakers or the kids who didn't like being in class, there were the few that did like class, and that kind of kept me going through student teaching. Yeah.
Well, with my class is pretty.
Uh-oh.
They can be very, very sweet, and they're very, very nice to me and their friends, but when it comes to, you know, just other classmates that they don't really have a connection with, they're awful. They're very mean, name calling. I don't know if it's the grade, I don't know if it's the age, I don't know if it's the school, you know, whichever, but I have kids coming to me constantly. So-and-so called me stupid, and I'll go ask the kid and say, no, I said her hair was stupid. I'm like,
I mean, I agree with you.
So it's little things like that make this job so hard, because, you know, you don't want to pick sides, you want to make sure everyone's nice to each other, but that's not something that you can teach and make sure that they're doing. But we had a reading challenge, and my kids know that I'm extremely competitive and I like to win. So I told them, yes. So the reading challenge was, if they read 4 books and logged it on a baseball diamond, that each kid gets a Bowie Bay Sox ticket. So it's like the Bowie Bay Sox reading challenge. So I told my kids, I said, if everyone in here brings back this log with 4 books written on it and a parent's signature, then you all get a ticket and Miss Chisholm will go to the game. And I was the only class in the school to have 100% participation.
Hey.
So it was so nice. Like, wow, these kids want to see me outside of school. So so it's nice to be appreciated and, you know, to be liked, and to have kids come up to you and give you cards and say, you're the reason why I love coming to school. And, you know, it's extremely emotional, and it is, as you said, in some way selfish, but in another way it's not, because you mean so much more to them, I guess to say. Not that they don't mean anything to you,
right?
But you're a teacher. You know, you're gonna have class after class after class after class. But in that moment, you know, you are their second grade teacher, and you will always be their second grade teacher. That's not going to change. So it is, being a teacher is such an emotional feat, and, you know, I'm not going to start on the we're underappreciated, because there are a lot of people who say, I don't know how you do what you do, and, you know, those people I absolutely adore. You know, but I'm not saying teaching is the hardest job. It is a hard job. It is a thankless job. You know, you have some kids that will leave and say, thanks for nothing, peace, and they'll leave, and you'll be like, okay. You'll take your deep breaths, but it is definitely the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life, in my 22 years. Now, that's still pretty young, and I can do a little bit more, but I am 100% happy with what I do, even though sometimes I don't want to get up at 5:45 or come home at 7 o'clock at night because I needed to clean or, you know, plan for this lesson, or I forgot to do report cards. They're due on Tuesday. But, you know, it is where I'm supposed to be, I guess is to say. And that's extremely cliche as well as this whole entire conversation.
This whole entire
but yes, I love what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing to say. I'm
Yeah,
not a
so
teacher.
How did you
teachers.
like the experience at our before and after school care? Be honest.
I liked it. I mean, I like seeing some kids like get attached and like see them grow and stuff, or, you know, start enjoying things. But like, I don't know, just it
All
It was
right.
a job.
It was a job.
It was a job. I needed the money.
All right.
Most days I
So-
wanted to blow my brains out, but
Alright, so we went
So,
from warm and fuzzy
yeah.
to
JB.
suicidal.
Teaching rocks, bottom line.
you guys keep
So-
going.
Not
What
every
you're
day,
doing.
but-
I think we actually went a little over
No.
an hour. No,
No,
Yeah.
we had like a 15 minutes of us bullshitting
Yeah.
around in the beginning,
that's true.
which is never going to make it, obviously, to the final cut. So
Yeah.
don't even worry about it.
Yeah, but I think we've kind of hit.
You know,
I'm
whatever.
sure we could all talk for like another hour or two about this, but we're gonna keep this
Save our
succinct.
voices for yelling at our kids tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
To be honest.
Oh, another thing someone had mentioned to me, that the things that teachers say out loud to like kids can never ever be said anywhere else. Like at my school, I have said the words, "You cannot keep ice cream in your locker," and that is just something that you
Like,
never
you
have to
cannot
say.
lick your
Right.
computer.
Yeah, you cannot lick your computer. Oh my god, I said
Not
something
even
else the
kidding.
other day
I said
too.
that twice.
No, I know.
Do you know how many
Not
people
even to the same
touch?
kid.
Do you know how many people touch that computer, that keyboard, that mouse?
Especially if it's
Don't
a
lick
touch
it.
screen. And
Don't
then they
lick
lick
It is.
Get off the floor! What are you doing?
That's fairly normal though.
Yeah, that
I
was
know, but
pretty...
it's all the time. Why do they love the ground so much? Sit on a couch.
Because it's not
Sit on
a
a
chair.
chair. Who cares? I get that the chair's not comfortable, but Jesus, that floor's disgusting. We're in the cafeteria. There's like vomit there. Stop. I mean, shout out to janitors for doing your job, but they can't get
Shout out to
everything.
Yes.
They can't get everything.
Yeah,
Hey.
I love
Always
those
be
janitors.
friends
When
with
you are a
janitors.
teacher, that is the first friend you make, is the
Yes.
custodian. And
The second one.
Sorry, custodian.
Yeah.
that's what they... I'll do whatever it takes to befriend them, but...
Yes.
Second one is the secretary.
Except the...
Yes.
Never mind.
Custodian,
and the
secretary.
secretaries.
You know, you want to be
Then
on
everybody else.
then you want to be on your principal's good side and your team and the parents, but priorities.
Custodian.
Start with the custodians.
Priorities.
Secretaries, yeah.
The custodian at my school told me in front of my class that if she was still here in a year and not stripping, that I needed to get her out of there, and I really didn't know what to say at that moment in time.
No, I actually.
That's
had-
like dropping off food and being like, so, is everything okay? They're like, it's alright. You're like, alright, I don't know what to say to that, so I'm just going to walk away.
I'm
You
sorry,
didn't
my
complain, so I'm not getting a
I'm
manager.
not gonna ask.
I actually shout out to the custodian. Hopefully he's still there. He was there for a while. At the high school I student taught at, because at the time I had my car keys and then I had my apartment keys
Oh,
on
God,
flash drive. So I put the flash drive in to do lessons and stuff, and then forgot it was in the computer.
I've done that.
So I drove home, and then had to drive back, and they locked the office because both the team, one had a baseball game and the other left.
Mm-hmm.
So the office was locked. And I was like, no, like my apartment keys are in there, like I can see them. But the custodian was still there. The office called him down, and he found the spare key and let me in. And I was like, yes. And I have a feeling if I didn't say hi to him every day or make conversation with him every day, he probably wouldn't have done that for me.
Times like that.
So
when
shout
you're
out
really
to
glad.
him because he was a lifesaver that day.
What's the equivalent of a negative shout out? An unshout out to the stupid bitch that was the janitor at the school that we worked at.
I was trying
Calling
to keep
him out?
things positive.
Oh yeah, I'm not by name, but
Oh yeah, the
Like
one who was
opposite
always
side.
late opening the door when we had to be in there and set up at 7:00, and she'd unlock our door
And
at
it's winter!
6:58. Yeah.
It's 12 degrees outside.
So then you have the parents going, "Oh, you guys are open a little late." Yeah, well.
Not our fault. Anyway,
So having a little key tag where you're allowed to scan in and get into school whatever time you please is probably the most blessed
I
I've
love
ever
sucks about
been.
having
I love my
long-term
name
sub
tag.
is like you have the key card, but it doesn't actually scan you into the freaking building, so I still have to wait for people
Oh
to
man.
let me in. It's rough.
that's why I like having mine. I have access to everything except the dorms.
All access pass.
Yep,
Nice.
access to the gyms and the pool and the buildings I don't
Damn.
go into. And yeah, but I also worked there before getting the long-term sub job.
I don't think I'm allowed on the roof. I haven't tried yet, but I could.
Was that an admission of guilt?
I don't know.
I feel like at some point or another, you're going to be in a newspaper like
Maybe.
crazy teacher pushes kid off.
Or innovative teacher teaches astronomy on roof. We'll see.
3 kids
This is how
die.
gravity works.
Okay. You're right.
Cool.
All right.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we covered.
This Sqwadcast has been lit.
Thanks, friendship.
Signing off.
XOXO.